If God were to send you a letter or your church a letter, I wonder what it would say. Well, we don't have to wonder about churches in the first century because Jesus did send a clear message to them, and we have those messages in the book of Revelation. This past week at church, we looked at Revelation chapter 2, verses 12 and following, the message of Jesus to the church of Pergamum. And he said, listen, there are some things that are going really well, and I can commend you. You are standing strong in the face of persecution, for instance, but there are some things that need correction. There are some things that are not going so well. Yes, you're standing strong against persecution, but you are being seduced and you are being led away by false teaching. In particular, a breed of false teaching that has you intermingling too much with the world, and in particular, going and mingling at these pagan temples and eating meat that was sacrificed to their gods. And so he tells this church, you cannot let that into your Christian lifestyle. You have to stay strong against this false teaching. In this week's sermon, we said, hey, there were probably any number of good excuses that the people could give. You know, for instance, these are not real gods. We know they're not real gods. We're not really doing anything here. The meat is just meat, but it was damaging their witness. And maybe another excuse is, well, that's where business happens. If I'm going to be in a trade guild, I have to be there. If I'm going to meet with my boss, we're going to be meeting in the pagan temple. That's where these meetings happen. And yet, Jesus says in this letter, don't compromise. There's no compromise. You have to remain holy. You have to remain faithful. You have to remain inside my will. And here's the promise. If you do, I will take care of you. I will provide for you. And it's much better than whatever you can get from the world. So I wonder about you, if there are things in your life, there are temptations to be pulled away from the type of living that you know God wants of you. And there are any number of good excuses as well. And how we today have that same tendency to make excuses rather than simply live faithfully, holy lives. Think about that a little bit more this week, and also begin to think ahead to our next message. This Sunday, we'll get into chapter 3 and we'll read the last of the 7 letters. This is a message to the church at Laodicea. This is the famous lukewarm church. I want you to begin thinking, what does it mean to be a lukewarm church or a lukewarm Christian? We'll discuss that this Sunday. Hope to see you at Cascade Fellowship at 10 a.m.